I started my son skating when he was 2 years old. I never thought when I was his age on the rink that I'd be skating with my own child. This is the one place where I felt safe and comfortable as a child, and now I've made that our safe haven too. This rink has been family owned for 35 years. It's been like a family home to me. My child is 7 years old now and has been shielded and protected to the best of my ability. He has turned out above and beyond my expectations. He is one of my biggest accomplishments, my muse, and he is everything to me. My name is Kelsie Brown. I was placed in foster care at 16 years old, just as I became a mother. If you find yourself in this place, just remember, you are not alone, you are not a statistic, and you have resources. I'm going to go into some detail about what those resources are. Even though you are underage, and if you have a child, being in care, you can consent to treatment for them. For instance, me being in care, I had full custody of my child. So I thought that, okay, well, I have a say-so in him, but what about me? Believe it or not, you still have a say-so if you want to be treated or not. You're not the one signing it for yourself, but for your kid, you will be. So if you go to the doctors and you're being seen for yourself, your foster parent will legally sign consent of treatment for you to be seen by the doctor. Now, if you're going for your child, you will legally sign consent of treatment for your child to be treated. And either one, even if the foster parent or you are signing it, you still have a say-so and if you want something done to you or your child. Another thing with consent to treatment is when I was 16 years old, I became pregnant with my son, and that was my first time going to the doctors alone without my mother. I was unable to have any procedures or treatments done at the time, but I was able to have a pregnancy test taken and to verify that I was pregnant without my mother present. But to follow up with an OBGYN, I needed consent of treatment. Even though it was my body and I'm the one pregnant, my mother still had a say-so in anything. If I wanted to get a fetal Doppler check, or if I needed blood work, or if I needed to have the baby's heart monitored, my mother had to sign for that. But know that if you're in that situation, and in my case, my mother wasn't present at every appointment, there is a paper that you can have your parent or legal guardian sign that gives you full consent of your body during the pregnancy. My mother signed the paper the day of my first appointment, and she did not have to come back to the appointment ever again. So she didn't, but that was the best thing that she could have done. Her signing that paper gave me rights to, from now on, to make full executive decisions of my body. That paper meant that I had consent to treat myself. So even though, there might have been some treatments that came up during my pregnancy, I was the one that was allowed to sign those now because she signed consent of treatment to me the first day. So just know that that's an option at most OBGYNs or at any doctor's office, that your mother can come in and sign a paper stating that she gives you the rights to make choices for yourself. Because if I had not known that, my mother probably would have never came to my appointments, so I would have never been treated right. So just know you have the option to have a legal guardian or parent sign consent over so that you can make the executive decisions on your body. In my experience, being a single mother, not being married to my child's father, I didn't know how the legal rights would go after my son was born. So I knew that my son's father was going to be signing the birth certificate, but because we are not married, what rights would he have to the child? So after leaving the hospital and getting into foster care, my son's father started to want to have visitations. That's when I discovered that I had custodial guardianship. So he didn't have any rights to see his kid. He would have to go file paternity and then go to Children's Services and file for visitation to see his kid because I was in care. So a woman under the age of 18 that gives birth to a child and is not married, you are custodial guardian of that child being born. Nobody else has more rights than you do. foster care, I didn't have too much for my son. I mean, I had the basics, but not knowing, of the resources out there that will help low-income based housing or help low-income based people. For me, I didn't have an income at all, so I didn't know what was available, but I did hear about Cribs for Kids that a lot of places do, but Dayton Children's is one of them. They have a program to where you can either attend a online class or in-person class about child or crib safety, and then they will give you a pack and play from Cribs for Kids. I actually went online and looked up Cribs for Kids, and they had a date that they were having an event where they passed out pack and plays, and I just found the location and the day and time, and I drove through the line and got a pack and play. So just know that there are options out there for cribs and car seats. Some of your resources could be right in front of your face and you're unaware of it. One time I went to a doctor's appointment, and when I was there, my doctor's office told me that they have some resources available for parenting classes. Now, me thinking, oh, I'm a teen mom, I have a lot to learn, but parenting classes to me sound like adults and things like that. So when they told me about the parenting classes, they said, no, it's all age groups and, different parents, some dads, some moms, and that it's not just about parenting, it's about learning to be prepared to be a parent. And so some of the classes they offered actually gave strollers away and car seats, and they had fake money also that you could spend at a boutique that they had on site. And I went to some of those classes starting at 10 weeks pregnant. And during that time, I think I managed to get around 300 to 400, like what they called baby bucks. And I was able to spend those on real items for my baby. So I got lotion, body wash, the nose syringes and things like that, nail clippers, wipes, all the above, diapers. And during those classes, it not only gave me something to do while I was there, and it was winter, so it gave me something to do during the winter time. I also was able to help me prepare. They taught one class specifically on when you're in a stressed situation, what you should do. If your baby won't stop crying and you just need a moment of silence, it's okay to put your baby in a safe area such as their crib or pack and play with no blankets or pillows in there, and for you to walk out of that room or out of the house and leave your child there momentarily while you step out to get some air. That's okay. Now, if you're asking me, when I was 16 and pregnant, I didn't think that was okay. Why would you leave your baby alone and leave them in a house by themselves? But you're not. You're taking a moment so you can come back and take care of the baby the way you need to. So some of those resources that you're looking for are right in front of you if you just ask. So maybe next time you're at a doctor's appointment or you're getting a checkup or anything like that, you should just ask your doctor, hey, do you guys have any of these resources available? Are you guys partnered with any parenting classes or resources like Cribs for Kids or things like that? And sometimes they might not have those resources there for you, but they might be able to send you in the direction to get those resources. During my time in care, the last foster home that I went to, Mrs. Andrea, she helped me enroll into Women, Infant, and Children, which we call WIC. WIC is there not only just for your, coupons and vouchers for cereal and milk, they help with formula, and also they're able to help you with breastfeeding. So if you're not planning to go the formula fed route, they will also teach you how to breastfeed. They have lactating consultants. They're also not just there for the baby, they're there for you as well. Every time you go in, they check you as well as they check the baby. They check for your iron. They make sure that your levels aren't low from just having a baby. So for instance, I found out that I had a vitamin D deficiency, and I found that out right after I left the hospital, and WIC made sure that I got a different kind of milk on my WIC voucher. So also, WIC, when you have a formula transformation, so let's say that your baby is very sensitive to acid and anything acidic. If you need to transfer your formula, if you can go to your doctor and ask them for a doctor's note and take it to WIC, and WIC will approve of any formula that your baby needs. So even though it might not be on the list of formulas that they provide for you, if you have a doctor's note, they will provide you with the proper formula for your child. Applying for WIC is pretty simple. You just call and schedule an appointment. You go into the office, you fill out some initial paperwork, just kind of who you are and what about you. You bring in your baby's social security card and yours as well. And on your first appointment, it's mainly just a check-in and intake. They want to know what your baby eats, how your baby's fed, making sure your baby's sleeping safe, wanting to know that if you're eating good, if you're sleeping safe, if you have any issues. And then from there, they immediately get you ready for a WIC voucher. WIC now comes on a card. So you will get a card, and every month on a certain date, it will be loaded with all the stuff you need. WIC qualifies for any income-based. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to make a certain amount of income. WIC is there for women, infant, and children. As long as your child is under the age of 5 years old, you qualify for WIC. At first, I was underestimated as a young mother, but I raised my siblings from the time I was 6 years old. I had cared for others more than myself. I had a lot of caring in me. You have to believe in yourself. Sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. You cannot wait around and sit for somebody to come grab your hand and guide you along. You have to be the one that gets up and puts forth effort to do so. You have to go out there, call around, look for resources. You have to be the one to make those appointments. You have to be accountable and show up for the appointments you make. You just can't sit around and wait for it to be handed to you. We have assembled a list of resources on the Action Ohio website page. There you can find some of your rights and resources that you may need while you're in care as a teen mom.